We were together for 15 years. We were married for 7. It was a beautiful thing, and we still had, like, you know, the normal ups and downs. But I will say we didn't have a relationship where we argued all the time. Yeah. We didn't have a relationship where we were dealing with infidelity or stuff like that, you know, during those times. We didn't have that type of relationship. So, because we were friends first. Yeah. You know, so it was always like, that's my homie. It was just something in me as a woman. I cannot explain it to where it was like I was battling myself. You feel like I'm trying to do the right thing, but it's something that's pulling me away from doing this. But why would it pull me away from my husband? I'm battling in the midst of that with religion, like what the people telling me at church and what I'm getting spiritual advice from. And then I'm battling with it with myself. Like, why am I feeling this way? I'm talking about I'm going to therapy for myself to figure out why am I feeling this way towards my husband. And the way I was feeling, it wasn't like I felt resentment towards him. It was almost like I was withholding a piece of me that I couldn't give him. I'm sitting on the couch and we had a small issue, and that small issue was back that pattern. Now, mind you, we done went to therapy for this. We done had talks for this. I done talked to you. What did you get from this after I said it? To make sure you understand, because I love to communicate. And I'm sitting on the couch, y'all, and I kid you not, God told me, that is not your husband. Wow.
So I believe that is the Crock Pod podcast. And guys, there's a lot to unpack, and there's another clip I'm going to follow up with where she explains what she says here. But I've covered a lot of videos on this where women are given the grace and latitude to do these things, to break up the family, even though there's nothing wrong, even though I think she will turn around and say things happen towards the end, but things do happen. You were with this guy 15 years, and I believe she got married pretty early, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of these women on social media, when they make these videos, they're supported by women. If they just decide, hey, I'm not feeling it anymore, I'm going to make up a reason because things are just going too well. We didn't argue. He didn't beat on me. There was no infidelity, no nothing. But God just told me after 15 years that this just isn't the dude for me. And I think, in my opinion, is based off of FOMO, fear of missing out. Social media popping up. You see all these different things that these guys are doing or that these women appear to be doing with these guys. And you feel like you're missing out on these things. And women will create problems just to sabotage their marriage and anything else, their relationships, just to be able to live that lifestyle and end up regretting it. Now, she's a successful entrepreneur, just like a few other women that I've covered where women were like, well, she had to leave the husband because she would have never became a successful entrepreneur. Da, 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 da. Now she's a single mom and notices that things aren't as easy as she thought that they were going to be. But women do this all the time. I just got bored. I'm just tired of it. Social media shows, and there was a guy, I can't think of his name, he talked about this, where you compare your lifestyle to what's on social media and you try to live up to these things that really is poisoning your mind to make you think hypergamy, there's much better out there for me. And then let's see what you end up with at the end of the day. After getting cheeks clapped, multiple dates, you look at it like, man, I should have stayed with my husband. I should have stayed with my husband at the end of the day, but this is where I'm at with it. So let's jump into this next clip here.
So when he came in, I was like, you know, I want a divorce. Now, mind you, we don't argue. And the issues that we had at that time were very small, minute. Yeah. We arguing about who turned the light off now. Yeah. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's never none of that stuff like that. You know, the small stuff. You know, so I'm like, and then as I'm getting advice from other people, I'm talking to spiritual people, I'm talking to people I'm calling church. I'm listening because I'm trying to make sure, I prayed for this marriage. I fasted, I abstained from sex for 2 years for this marriage. Like, why would God tell me to leave my husband? Why would God tell me this is not your husband? Like, how, Sway?
Exactly. How, Sway? How could this not be your husband? You prayed for him. You fasted. You didn't get clapped for 2 years, which that's the standard number for every woman. When you meet a woman, she hasn't been intimate with a man for 2 years. That's the standard answer that they tell you. But if this man was all these things, it took you 15 years to realize that he wasn't, because God spoke to you and said all of a sudden you need to move on and become a single mom. Because being a single mom is better than what's going on here. No arguing, no infidelity, none of that stuff. Anyway, let's get on to the next clip, guys. Let's go.
from a 2-second clip, they hear me saying all these good things, but they're not listening to the words.
Yeah.
I said that we never had at that time, you know, so they not listening to the full context of the video.
Yeah.
So I'm just praying for those people that they get the clarity that they need.
What would you say, just to, I guess maybe the comment, God would never say that to you?
I'm praying for them, and I pray that they get a relationship with God and really get to know God, you know, and understand his voice clearly. Because yes, the devil will try to poke and do things of that nature. But if you are a believer, if you are somebody who've ever encountered God's voice, you know the sound of it.
Yeah.
You know the feeling of it when you hear it, and when you instructed to do something. It's like it ain't like, go do this. Like, Satan is going to entice you with something.
Right.
He would have been like, after me receiving all this news, I feel like he probably would entice me to go cheat on my husband or do something of that nature.
Right.
Versus me leaving and removing myself and still trying to be, you know, nice to this man, forgive this man. I feel like that it would have been a different role.
Yeah.
So I feel like the people that are saying that, it's triggering for them. And the conversation is very triggering, because you got a lot of people who grew up in single parent homes. Their mom left their dad, or their dad left their mom. So the D word is hard for everybody. Absolutely. And it's very triggering.
Absolutely.
And then you got the people that's in a culture now where they're trying to find that person. So from a 2-second clip, they hear me saying all these good things, but they're not listening to the words.
Yeah.
I said that we never had at that time, you know, so they not listening to the full context of the video.
Yeah.
So I'm just praying for those people that they get the clarity that they need.
Yeah. And so,
well, baby, in their defense, it was more than a 2-second clip. It was a minute and a half of you saying this. Now, if you're happy at the end of the day and you can live with yourself and what you did, but marriage is a serious thing. And I get it when you're at a young age. I got married when I was young, and you really don't know who you are. And through social media, friends going out and about, you realize that, hey, I got more options, or I'd rather be with this person, or I'd rather be with this type of person instead of the man you with, which is wrong. But that's just how it is when you tend to view social media and people getting in your ear and all these other things at that point. But I think if you didn't have a lot of issues, I think eventually there probably was something where you started making it an issue because you started looking at him different. And I think you started resenting him overall. So for someone to say God spoke to me and say, unless this person was just doing something terrible, God spoke to you to just leave the person. And I think she gets into, there were signs, and I'll link the full video here for you guys to watch it. But Tyrese did a video on this where he was on Shannon Sharp, where he was talking about, I didn't make a promise to you, I made a promise to God. And he's like, well, where the fuck are you at? We made these vows, and all of a sudden you just treating it like, eh. And I'm not saying this goes for a man putting his hands on you. A man can't provide. A man basically is dependent on you to do everything. I'm not talking about any of that, because that's what ladies gonna say. Well, what if he's putting his hands on you? What if he's not providing anymore? What if he's not, well, he's not upholding his vows as the husband? Just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Comment below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Much blessings and abundance. Stick around for the next videos. It's going to pop up on the screen below. That's where I'm going to see you guys at. Listen, it's your favorite everything. This is Wisdom. I'm the best. Let's run it up to 1 million. Quit playing with me. Peace.